Bailey here. Welcome back to the Actors Vlog. This is Barney. I can't get him to move. He's going to be in the vlog today. So let's see, where are we at? We're on episode 9, 10, something like that. I had filmed and had episodes 9 and 10 in the can and didn't edit them, and then I started editing them now that I'm trying to stay more consistent and finish this series, and realized that episode 9 was out of focus. So I'm just going to re-record it because I also have more to say now that it's been some period of time and I've been through more experiences. We've covered a lot of the basics, all of it really. We've talked about where you should be studying, that you should be, what have I harped on every single time, that you need to be creating your own work no matter what. Try to create as much as possible, as quickly as possible. We've talked about the books you should be reading. We've talked about, always be acting, act as much as possible, spend more time actually acting. Doing your submissions is great. Sending out your headshots is very good. Having meetings is okay, but that's not time acting. That's time doing the business around your acting. So make sure you're spending time acting. Let's see. So let me just go off my notes here. So I kind of have just some stories that I want to tell, really. Just share some stories of my experiences as an actor over the past 7 years here in LA, and maybe those would be beneficial. That's what episode 9 was. That was out of focus, and so let's just kind of dive right in. The first story I want to tell is a story that I call "Silence is Golden." This is actually typed up on my blog on Tumblr. So this is a couple years back, obviously, because that's when I filmed that vlog. I was really in a negative headspace, and I was aggravated because I wasn't auditioning as much as I felt I deserved to. Bad place to be in. I was jealous of other people. I was feeling like I wasn't doing great work. I was feeling like I wasn't challenging myself. I just, everything being negative and really hard on myself. We all do that, but we shouldn't. And that's pretty much the theme of this entire episode. So I was out with Shannon, my lady, and we were talking, and of course I was venting and being negative and blah, 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 blah. And as I'm telling her about how it's not fair that I'm not getting all these auditions and, I should be doing more and I've worked so hard for everything. You were really sleeping. You sleeping through the video? Is this boring? So anyway, I was complaining to her, and as I was complaining, we were inside of this bar, and in this bar there were TVs all around us, and they were all on the same channel. And as I'm talking about, oh, woe is me, my face pops up on all the TVs. So I'm surrounded by myself on TV. I felt like a moron. Bye, Barn. I felt like a moron because it was like God saying, "Shh, silence is golden. Be quiet. You're doing fine. Stop being so greedy. Stop being so negative." It was crazy. It was one of the weirdest moments of my entire life to know that my face just got shown to all these people, and then I'm in that same room going, yeah, I still. So don't complain. Just work harder. Spend more time acting, not complaining, right? Your career is not like everybody else's, and you don't want it to be. Look at this. I just watched Black Panthers. Black Panthers on my brain. You have Chadwick Boseman, who is famous for doing all these biopics and these, really strong dramas. And then you've got Michael B. Jordan, who's done the dramas, but he's also doing Creed and things like that, and he's all over the place. They both have valid careers, and both careers that I respect a lot, wouldn't mind having, but they're both very different. And both of their careers match who they are as people. They both deserved the roles that they got. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? You attract what you desire. I don't want to get into The Secret or anything silly like that. I mean, I'm not saying that's not a valid thing to put your desires out into the universe and the law of attraction and everything. What I'm saying is, attract what you desire and make sure that what you desire is a unique career that fits you, that is 100% you. You don't want to be an actor who is just that guy that no one ever remembers. And there's plenty of them out there. They just they're working, but are they memorable? I don't know. I don't think so. And I would say don't wait, because guess what? No one's going to find you. No one's going to walk up to you at Starbucks and be like, hey, Tom Cruise is aged out of this role and you look perfect for this role. We're going to pay you millions of dollars and risk millions more dollars to cast you because of the way that you sip that latte. Nah, dude, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You gotta get out there and show people how you act. You gotta be an actor. Show business. Second story. Everything I got by knowing people. Now, this isn't about being handed anything. You will earn it. But it is true. Like, in order to be cast in something, there needs to be a casting director that sees you, likes you, lets you audition, believes in you enough to vouch for you, to hopefully get you the job. Or like knowing a producer or knowing directors that believe in you. Everything I've gotten has been outside of the things that I've made for myself, which I've made plenty of things, but I've also, like, for instance, I was an audition reader. I would read for a casting director at auditions. And every single time the director, even if I didn't get to audition, the directors would always look at me and be like, that was really great. I'm going to keep you in mind for other things. And that's what you want, right? Because I got to act that day and work with all these great actors that would come in to audition for the parts. Sometimes I got to audition for parts in the film, and I booked them. But I wouldn't have booked them if I hadn't been the audition reader. I might not have even gotten an audition to book that film if I wasn't already in the room reading over and over again, showing different dynamics and building a performance in front of this director. This is literally how I've booked a couple of roles. It's a true story. And here's a great piece of advice that I've heard and that I believe in. It's almost a mantra for me, is I believe in attitude over skill any day. Now, I'm not saying I would cast a beginning actor because he's got a great attitude but he can't, memorize lines or even get any emotion into his voice or whatever you want to say. But if it's between the greatest actor in the world who's a complete dick, or like a pretty good actor but has a great attitude and takes direction well and is easy to work with and is a nice person, they're going to get the job. So have a good attitude. A lot of what I'm saying, look at everything that I've said so far, it's basically like, hey, don't be negative. Don't be a dick. Right? But yeah, also, just a side note, if you are union and you're not going to the SAG Foundation and doing like the SAG Foundation workshops, you're doing yourself a disservice. So make sure you're going and using everything that's at your disposal. We don't get a lot of handouts as actors. And the SAG Foundation is an amazing, amazing foundation that, they aren't run off of our dues. They'll tell you that openly. They run off of donations, and they have all these great programs, for voiceover, for casting directors come in and you can do a workshop with them and get in front of a casting director that you haven't met yet. They do like a lot of business classes teaching you how to like edit, how to use social media, put headshots together, branding workshops. Go. So anyway, that's a side note. Let's see what else. Think of it this way. Let's talk about auditioning. That's what I want to talk about a little bit. I got extant through SAG Foundation. That's why I brought that up, is because now it took some homework. I had already sent out a postcard to this casting director, the great Ronna Kress, and then I met her in person at the SAG Foundation, and then I hit her up again via postcard again, and then I got an audition, and it was for Terminator Genesis. I auditioned, I got a call back, I didn't get the movie. And then I got to audition again, it was for Extant, and I booked it. That's it. That's how simple it can be to get on TV. I mean, I worked my ass off for that audition, both of those auditions, and for marketing myself, and I worked my ass off in that workshop, but that's the way it happened. But keep this in mind too. If you do a workshop, or you let's just take workshops out of it, because they're dead at this point, unless you're doing them through SAG Foundation, and you're not going to get a job through those. That's how you introduce yourself to a casting director, because we don't do generals anymore. Back in the day, they used to do general meetings. You could sit down face to face and talk to a casting director, and they could get to know you. It doesn't work like that anymore. But psychologically speaking, it takes the human brain 7 times of seeing something to log it in the memory bank. So if I meet you once and you say, "Hi, my name's Dan," and I shake your hand and say, "Hi, Dan," and then you go away from me, if I see you even 2 days later, I'm not going to remember your name's Dan. But if I meet you about 6, 7 times, "Hi, that's Dan, and I remember you were really into Harry Potter," or whatever it is. I don't know, I just made it up. But think about that. That's how it works in your everyday life. That's how it works for casting directors. The great part is that you're being pitched and marketed, right? So if you meet somebody through a casting director, boom. If you meet somebody through a workshop, that's one time they see you. Then they see your headshot later, they reread your name. Then you get submitted, and you're through the breakdowns by your manager, your agent, and then your agent or manager calls and pitches you after that. So now they've seen you 4 times, and then you get to audition, so you go in the 5th time, and you're auditioning, so you don't really know them. Then you go in the 6th time, and you're a little bit more comfortable the 2nd time in the office. You're like, "Oh, hi, Sheila," or whatever the casting director's name is. But that 3rd time you go in there, now you both know each other. You're like, "Hi, hey, Sheila, good to see you again." She's like, "Hey, Steven, great seeing you." So what does that mean? By that 7th time, you have a comfortability and a confidence in each other. And but in order to get that, you have to be called back. So what does that mean? It means you need to book the office when you audition. And what does that mean? It means don't worry about booking the role. When you get an audition, you've already won. Because let's think about this. Let's just do some math real quick. How many actors do you think are in Los Angeles? 50,000? More? Probably more. I think there's like 100,000 union members alone. So it's probably like 250,000 actors. And let's say there's a TV show that the casting director is booking, and there's 7 roles, but only 1 role fits your type. So let's just say, let's cut it down to just union members, 100,000, and cut it down to the people that are your type, so probably like 24,000, and then cut it back down to who got submitted, so that's like 12. Regardless, you see that no matter how much I keep narrowing it down, the fact that you're getting cherry-picked out to even come into their office, because they only bring in like 12 people per role, the fact that you're getting brought into that office is a huge win. And you want to book the office, you want to show up on time, you want to sign in, and you want to give a badass audition, off book, sides in hand, but off book. You know your lines. You need to look down, but look right back up. You know what's there. Just don't keep it in front of your face, move your hands around. Don't use it as a prop unless, like, it makes sense, but it's not a prop. But don't be weird with it. But go give a good audition and book the office. What that means is that office will bring you back because you did a great job. A casting director's job is to listen to what the director and producers want, and then they go find it. How do they find it? They find it by you being submitted to them via Actors Access and breakdowns. Okay? And then they scroll through, they have their assistant scroll through and find a bunch of types, then they pick out the 12, they call them in, you come in, you audition, you get put on tape, they show the tapes to the directors and producers, and then they kind of say, call back, call back, call back. They call you back in. You come in, you do your call back, and that's the way it works. That's how auditioning works. So, if you come in and they only have 3 hours to see 12 people, and you come in and you blow your audition, you make them look bad. You make them that you wasted a spot. God forbid you don't show up. If you don't show up to an audition, they're never going to bring you back in. You better have a great excuse and send them pictures of your demolished car on the freeway or something. You want to go in and you want to help them out so that they help you out. One hand washes the other. Don't be scared of the casting directors, even though there is a lot of negativity that can come out. Don't shake the casting director's hand. The casting director might be stressed, so they're taking their stress out on you. It's not fair. Fine, let's get that out of the way. No, there's a lot of things that aren't fair for actors, but you're also saying you want to be making your living wage off playing pretend, so you have to pay for that somehow. Go in and do a good job. Go in and do your best job, because you want them to say, he's reliable, he showed up on time, he came in with his headshot, he was off book, he had his sides in hand, and he nailed the audition, he just wasn't right for it. So if I see something else for him, make them your fan. If I see something else that they're right for, I'm calling them up. That's booking The Office. But let me tell you about my worst audition. It was for like a made-for-TV movie, like a movie of the week kind of thing. And I went in and I auditioned for it. And at the time, and I still think, even now, I'm too young for the role. I look too young. I went in, I was too young for the role, and it got in my head. I let it get to me. I let it get in my head that I'm not even right for this role. So I didn't even really work. I didn't commit to my choices when I was making them with the role. It's kind of like, okay, I'll just go in and audition, because it's like, but that's such a dumb way to consider it. It was like I should have gone in and done my version of the role, a younger version of the role, as a way to show them like, hey, you guys could rewrite this as being a younger person, and this is what it could feel like. When you go into audition, it's you saying, here's the Stephen Bailey version of this role. Here's what it's going to look like if you go with my brand. And I think it's a pretty good brand. So take a look at this. Pow! That's my audition. That's what you need to think of as auditioning. Think of it as a one-night only showing of you playing the role of Derek in the TV movie As the Leaves Fall or something. That's probably a real movie. I don't know. I just made that up. But think of it that way, though. You know what I mean? And I think that, I've done a lot of bad auditions. I've done a lot of good auditions. But you got to go in there and let them go. I've spent so much time aching and being in pain over what I thought were bad auditions that probably weren't that bad. I've actually booked auditions where I was like, I was terrible. I booked them, though. Which, okay, whatever. That's how bad they wanted my brand or whatever. But yeah, be happy getting in the room. Find the positives all the time. If you feel yourself being negative, just say what is this and what's the opposite, and go with the opposite. I'm too young for this role. The positive side is, I'm too young for this role, but I can provide the younger version of this in a really strong way that they probably haven't even thought of yet. There's no mistakes. A casting director does not make mistakes. I mean, they do, but don't think of it that way. They don't make mistakes. It's not a mistake that you're being brought in. That you're actually the one that they want the most. Put that in your head. You're the one that it should be getting this role. So how are you going to make it your own? What's your version of this role? Go in and do that. Stop hating yourself. Stop hating your work. Stop getting in your head and saying negative things to yourself. Only positive affirmations should be going through your head. I'm going to go there and I'm going to kill this. I'm going to rock this. I'm perfect for this. They should pick me. They'd be stupid not to pick me. It's arrogance and ego, but at the same time, it's better. I'd rather you do that than go, they're not going to pick me. I'm not right for this. This is stupid. I shouldn't even go in there. Because if you have that attitude, you're going to go and you're going to give a shitty performance, or you're going to give a negative performance, which sometimes the stars might align, and that might work. But don't do that. Play tricks on yourself if you need to. Yeah. And, what I want you to think about is your time management. How are you spending your time? It goes back to the more time acting thing. Like, how much time are you spending reading scripts? How much time are you spending doing play readings? How much time are you spending in class? How much time are you spending doing plays? And then think about this. Like, let's just go on a day-to-day basis. You wake up, you spend an hour working out. Of course, you have to eat. Maybe you go work a 5-hour shift at your part-time job. And, how much of your day are you spending acting? Or are you just like having drinks with your buddies and watching football and not acting? Because that means you're not an actor. Don't say you're an actor if you're not an actor. An actor acts. Spend more time acting, okay? And lastly, I want to talk about this. The auditions are great, but think about King Batch, Andrew Batchelor. Vine was a big thing back in the day. And he was making his own Vines. He's still got a YouTube channel. Still. And he's got all these movies in theaters and he's on TV. He still makes YouTube videos and videos for Facebook because he enjoys that. And he wants to always, always, always be productive and making things and acting because that's what's inside of him. He's an artist. He wants to put it out. He's a comedian. He wants to make people laugh. He wants to be entertaining. And he made his name through the internet. So can you. Also, Donald Glover starts out with Derek Comedy. They have like 50 videos online. It's not that many. You can make 50 videos. Get your friends together and go make 50 videos. And if you're like, I can't do it. Guess what? This is being filmed on my iPhone right now. You have an iPhone probably. Make it with your iPhone. But I don't have the microphones. Look at those Derek Comedy ones. He didn't have a microphone for that. They were shooting on worse cameras than are on your iPhone. And, he was a playwright. He was a playwright at NYU. And then he went and studied improv at UCB, and he was doing stand-up. And he got 30 Rock as a writer. Got an Emmy. Said, no, I want to be an actor because he had a plan in his head. So he quits 30 Rock as a writer. Tells Tina Fey, I don't want to do this. She lets him go. 9 months later, he books Community. Does that for a few years. Quits Community. And then he was, of course, he was always rapping as Childish Gambino. But Childish Gambino was born via the internet. That's why his album's named because of the internet. Think about this. You have the power to always be acting. And you have the power to get on these casting directors' radar. You have social media. You have YouTube, which is a distribution company for yourself. It's your TV channel, a direct TV channel where you can let everything that's in your head out. You can do that. Go do it. The basics are covered. I don't even know what episode 10 is. I pretty much covered everything that episode 9 was, which is just a couple stories and me telling you, just telling you what these notes are. And that's it. So that's episode 9, episode 10, or whatever the next episode is, and then that's it. I'm done. I can't teach anymore. Go get in class. Go make things. I'm a broken record at this point. You guys know what you're doing. But believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to manage your time as best you can. I used to say I'm going to do 3 things for my career today. Even if it's just reading a play, doing my self-submissions, and going to an audition. That's fine. But that's pretty minimal. And you could probably do all that in like 2 hours. But what if you spent 4 hours or 8 hours a day on creating things and working on your career? What could you do? How would your body of work look after a year of doing that? And why aren't you doing that now? You're a business dude or lady. Treat yourself like that. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a small business, and I've probably talked about this in the vlog before, if you're a small business owner, right, and let's say you're going to start an independent coffee chain with organic coffee, you need the capital. So you buy your coffee beans, and you rent your space, and you get the artwork done for your logos, and you get some flyers, and you hand the flyers out, and you do a grand opening where you put on a show for everybody. So let's break this down. How do we do that as an actor? Well, you can do flyers. Those are postcards that you send out to all the casting directors, agents, and managers. Your space will be finding a theater or your YouTube page or whatever it is. Your big grand opening show could be putting on a play in the Fringe Festival or releasing videos on your YouTube page. And your organic coffee beans, that's just you making videos or working on your monologues. You're a business. Sometimes you got to put money into the business. And sometimes you have to advertise your business. But at all times, you need to be putting out product. And sometimes you got to give free samples. Free samples are when you go to a student film or something. You're a business. Hey, Barn, you're being a little loud. Anyway, get your business started. You can do this! All right, that's it. End of this actor's vlog, and the next one's the final episode. So I will be seeing if I can edit whatever I had. If not, I'll refilm it like I did this one. Thank you guys for watching. Get to acting. Later.